episode 13 of PostCombatMTG. Today we're talking about like weird changes in Commander or things we want to see changed, and just a lot of like hot button issues that people are talking about right now. So one of the first things we're going to talk about is Infect. And right now the rule is 10 Infect counters or 10 poison counters, and you lose the game. It's sort of like the way around life gain or some of those other strategies that like aim for like long-term play.
It's just an alternate win condition through combat.
Yeah, and the main argument is that people want to see it go from 10 Infect to either 15 or 20.
I've heard 20 is the big argument because we went from, or no, was it 15? Because it's double. So the 60 card format life total is 20. Commander's 40. They want to see Infect go from 10 to 20 to balance out the life total.
Yeah. How do you feel about that?
I don't think we should change it whatsoever because our group plays more Infect than most groups I've ever played with.
We play
and no one plays like an Infect deck.
No.
But everyone has Infect.
Stay tuned. It might happen.
I do want to build one.
Yeah.
But we play the Blighted Agents and Triumph of the Horde and just those little Infect.
Like game enders or
game
finishers.
That one, the enchantment that gives something Infect.
Quietus Spike.
Yeah, that one, and there's another one. But it's just... And like, Grafted Exoskeleton, isn't it? Yeah. But the reason it doesn't change is because Infect is not good.
No, it's not.
It's not good in Commander. And for us to have to go... So for anyone who doesn't like mess with Infect creatures are very small.
Yeah, they're all small and cheap, and that's kind of the point.
And yes, there are. I think there's like a 6/6 Infect guy, but he's big. He's big and stupid, and he's very color restrictive. But Infect is already so hard to get through. It's already, because it's. Imagine playing a token deck but slower. You're just playing like 1/1s and 2/2s. Have to give them evasion. Have to let them survive.
Yeah.
Because people will block those all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't think we need to up that for the reason that Infect rarely wins as it is. Why make it harder to win?
Well, my whole argument is if people who are watching this right now don't watch Game Nights or the Command Zone, they have a player, Craig Blanchett, who plays a ton of Infect.
Love him.
And Josh Lee Kwai made an argument that whenever Craig plays, he always kills someone with Infect, but then he's immediately the next person killed, and he never wins a game off Infect.
Well, there was one game when Josh Kim played the Yidris Infect, and he, by some grace of God, killed everyone.
Yeah.
And that is and I think there was a recent episode of Command Zone where they said that is the only time that's ever happened.
Yeah, and it was a super quick game. Like, he had a really quick hand, he brought Yidris out super quick, so that doesn't really happen a ton. And I don't know, I just think that life gain already doesn't have enough solutions to it, so I think taking away a solution to life gain is just hurting the format even more.
Yeah, just for a reference, I'm just scrolling through the Infect decks.
Yeah.
And the biggest one I'm finding, Skitherix is he's the 4/4 flying Infect.
Yeah.
He's the biggin. I know there's a bigger one.
Probably.
But most of them are 1/1. There's a 3/2.
Yeah, I know a lot of the Infects we play are
1/1. Yeah, Blighted Agents are a big one.
Or we just give a creature that doesn't have Infect and equip it with Infect.
Yeah.
Or something like, what's that black instant? Give a Tainted Strike.
Tainted Strike. Oh, I'm just going to I forgot. There's a 13/13 Infect that I play. Blightsteel Colossus.
Oh, yeah.
He's Infect. Yeah.
But I don't consider that Infect. I consider that more of the Eldrazi side, because he's just so broken. Because I think Eldrazi are just a whole different
level
category.
But yeah, it's raising it to 20. I really do think would be. I think it would be so. It's unplayable at that point.
Yeah.
I think it goes from.
Look at commander damage. No one plays.
Yeah, it's
Voltron.
Yeah, it's. And the thing is, when you look at the top commanders who do Infect, it's Atraxa, obviously, because you can proliferate the poison counters.
Yeah.
Skitherix, because I mean, why not? And then the other one's Saskia.
I wouldn't have thought that.
Yeah, because when as Saskia enters choose a player. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, it deals that much damage to a chosen player. So it doubles up. So if I'm attacking you and I choose Caitlyn, any infect going to use going to her. Yeah. So it speeds up infect. But then again, you have to play these like
very specific
command, and obviously there's other ones you can play infect however you want, but they're not. I mean.
Yeah, and even like later on down the line, they want to address infect. I just don't think it's the issue right now, or that anything that they should be paying attention to right now.
No, because there's nothing breaking infect.
No.
At all.
But there's a lot of other things breaking the format that they should be focused on.
There's a lot of things breaking a lot of things, and infect has never been one of them. I think infect was big in Modern for like 45 minutes back before when I played, but even then they nerfed that, and now it's a fringe deck that hasn't topped 8 in years.
Alright, do you want to talk about the hybrid mana now?
Yeah, so the hybrid mana debate is a let me pull up a card that has hybrid mana. So hybrid mana is a mechanic where you have 2 different colors of mana in the mana cost in like the one little blip. So it could be a green-white mana or whatever it is, and it says you can either pay green or white for that mana. So the big thing right now is, do we allow? So let's say I'm playing a deck. Let's say Reese the Redeemed. If I'm playing a mono green deck, so Reese the Redeemed is 1 hybrid mana, green-white hybrid mana for a 1/1, and you can pay to make tokens with him. Because he is green-white, should I be allowed to play him in a mono-green deck?
Yeah. Because
they're saying, well, no, because the color identity is white. Now, I know that
that's the rule right now.
That's the rule right now. And there's a lot of talk of people wanting to change that where you can play hybrid mana cards in a deck that does not have both color identities, as long as it has one. And I think Mark Rosewater was who said that they were designed to be specifically different. It is either or. It is not... It's a green-white card. It is a green or a white card.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily both. So, I personally think that... Now, I could be speaking out of turn, but I do think that we should be able to play them in other decks that don't share both colors. For the fact that I don't see how that would break anything, necessarily.
Yeah.
Like, I can't think of a card that would, like... And I'm sure there is. I'm sure someone will be like, no, this will break this.
I think the argument is that a lot of the blue hybrid mana cards would break some like mono green decks if it's a Simic card, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying that.
Yeah, I mean that's a very good possibility.
That's the only thing I think would be broken.
I've never looked at a card and been like, well, this would be broken otherwise if it had this color added to it or anything. I mean there are some, but
I don't really have an opinion about this one. Like I don't think it would break anything. I understand where the other side's coming from, where like. If you're playing a mono green deck and then you just play a blue card in it that's like an instant or something like that, it doesn't really fit the flavor, the spirit of the deck. But
yeah, I do get that they're coming from in that where it's
because some of the abilities of Magic are very specific to their color.
Yeah,
and that kind of just jumps around that.
I can see the argument more about that it breaks the spirit of Commander than it does breaks the format itself.
Yeah,
which.
Because the whole thing about Commander is you have a Commander and you stick to those Commander's colors and then your whole deck's supposed to be synergized.
Yeah, and I don't... At the end of the day, I don't care either way. I'm not going to ever, hardcore protest this thing. I do just... I guess it'd be nice to do a trial period of it and see how it works.
I say we try it out.
Because...
Or how they did with the unstable Commanders.
Yeah.
Just give it a month.
Right, because I just don't really know if it's that... detrimental to the format. I think it could spice up some decks a lot. I just don't know if it would break anything. And I don't want to do this and all of a sudden someone's like, oh, by the way, this commander is not broken because it can play.
Well, I'm sure they could quickly find that out, especially with their new R&D playtest team, and I don't know, they can figure something out.
The only thing I kind of get at a point where so right now I'm building Kumena is a merfolk commander, like a merfolk tribal commander, and there's white merfolk.
Yeah. And
the white merfolk are so good at tapping and untapping. Their whole thing is if they become tapped, these things happen.
Yeah.
And Kumena does. All wants to do is tap all your merfolk. Yeah. The problem is she's not white.
Yeah.
The only So now I have a choice where I can play Tuvasa, which is that one that came in the Estrid pre-build that says you get +1/+1 for each enchantment you control. I can still, she's a Merfolk. I can use her as a Merfolk commander.
Kumena in the 99.
But now I'm using, at the end of the day, I'm still want Kumena out. So I have to like draw that line of do I want white bad enough? Because the white, there's a reason that they did not give Kumena white.
Well, yeah.
There's a very specific reason. So
they were hesitant to print green Merfolk to begin with.
Yeah. So now it's at this. Now we're at this weird. I guess it is a weird crossroad where like I understand why Kumena doesn't have white in it.
Yeah.
So maybe we should stick to very strict color identities because there's probably other cards that absolutely break other decks that I just probably can't think off the top of my head. But
personally, I just think it doesn't feel right. Like, because when you play a deck, you play it for those specific colors. At least to me. But I wouldn't get upset if someone else like had one card.
I'm already like arguing my own top. Like now I'm kind of like maybe I don't like it because now like I'm really looking at that Kumena and going, that would be broken with the white in there.
3-color Merfolk.
Because you can do 3-color Merfolk, but you're not having Kumena at the head of it. Yeah. You're having her in the 99, and she is much better in the commands on the.
You're having a commander that doesn't affect the Merfolk at that point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I can't think of another 3-color Merfolk. I mean, you can just choose any other 3-color commander if you want.
Yeah.
But then I get all like flavor hurt, and I'm like, well, that's not on theme. Like I have to have my flavor.
Well, that's why I don't think they should change the rules because I think the flavor of the game is kind of the fun in it.
I'm immediately flip-flopping my opinion. I went into this with like, I mean, that's a,
But I also don't care. Like, if they changed the rule, I wouldn't be like, oh, Wizards, what are you doing?
Well, I would also just continue playing my decks the way I played them. I don't think I would change much. And also, Hybrid Mana is not printed crazy often.
No, there's hard to find cards that are, a lot of cards that are Hybrid Mana. Yeah. Our next topic, sort of related to Infect, is commander damage. And right now, it's any commander deals combat damage to a player, 21 points of damage wins you the game. And I guess the whole argument is that they want to take it away entirely.
There's talk that I guess it's kind of on both sides where they're saying I don't know if it's both sides necessarily, but they're just saying that what's the point?
Yeah.
What's the point of having it?
Because people rarely play Voltron, which I don't agree with necessarily. But a lot of people say, like, commander damage, you don't track it because everyone forgets it's happening, and then you're like, oh, I should have won 6 turns ago.
Here's my problem with that is, with the whole, people don't track their commander damage. I have Alacia, like my newest deck. She swings every turn at somebody. Yeah. Always. So, I hope you're tracking my commander. I mean, I track it myself, but I would hope you're tracking it.
I think that's just lazy players.
Right.
They get used to
and I understand, like, if I'm playing my Duretti deck, obviously, you don't worry about that.
Yeah.
But I'm also a big believer in everyone keep track of everything, because that stops a lot of arguments.
Yeah, a lot of us in our playgroup have our own dice for all of our damage and stuff to make sure.
But at least at that point, I know you're tracking, and I also am tracking in, ways. But I don't, but with commander damage, yes, is Voltron a good strategy competitively? No. Pretty bad. It's not great.
It's questionable.
It is questionable at best.
It's slow.
It is slow. Yeah. It is easily dealt with when it comes to board clears and...
Because you just have to take out one creature usually.
A
few.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where, like, when you see those decks that do play Voltron, like Ruhan, he's a fun deck that I would build if I could build him cheap, because he swings at someone random every turn. Yeah. So at that point, you're just like, I'm going to suit this guy up and see what he does.
It's just a dice roll.
Yeah, it's just a dice roll. So that'd be a fun, like, goof around deck. Like, I would ever bring that to, like, a tournament and be like, here's my Ruhan deck. Absolutely not. But at the same time, like, then that deck, at that point, let's say we take away commander damage. Can you play Ruhan anymore?
Not really.
Not. No. Ishimaru?
It'd be more of a chaos deck or something like that.
Yeah, and it's even then it's just dumb. Like, I'm just gonna, like, because I'm still going to do 40 damage to someone off one creature. That's so you gotta think that thing has to deal out what 120 damage.
Yeah, to do all that.
To everyone. So if you're playing a 4-player game, you now are responsible for doing 120 damage to win you the game. More, I mean, obviously a little less if people are swinging, but that just, why would you change that? Yeah. If it's already not affecting the format, why do we even bother?
Yeah, that's my whole argument, is that, like, if it's bad, why get rid of it?
Yeah.
Like, because if you use that argument, you would get rid of a lot of weird strategies like Chaos or Group Hug, because none of those are really built to win. But I just don't think banning something just because it's not good is a good reason to ban it.
Because to me, like a card like Approach the Second Sun is also not good.
Yeah.
Because most decks are going to be like, oh, they cast it, we have to kill them now.
Kill them
and that's the same thing with commander damage, where if I go on at 18 commander damage, I'm just going to not let you do that. I'm going to kill you or stop you in some...
You usually see it coming.
Yeah, so it's just like, it's not like it's this hidden, like, no commander comes out and hits you for 21 points of damage and calls it a day.
No.
You got to build it up. You have to, even if, let's say you play one of the Eldrazi Titans as your commander. Let's say it's a 12/12. You are still having to swing into that twice, unblocked, or with trample or something. It's not, and even then, those are what, 10 mana to cast? Those aren't, that's hard.
See, and I think even if you did have a commander that's 12 damage and had double strike and haste, it still wouldn't be broken because there's plenty of, like, win the game spells in Magic.
Oh, there's plenty.
Like, Expropriate, for an example,
you win.
It's not banned. It basically reads you win the game if you're playing blue.
Exsanguinate.
Cards like that.
Torment of Hailfire.
I just think it's a stupid argument to just get rid of something because it's bad. And you would hurt the format more by getting rid of it than just letting it be. Because you would destroy a bunch of commanders and decks.
And the thing is, I think the cool... and we talk about this all the time, and the cool part about Commander is doing what you want.
Yeah.
Whether it's good or bad.
Fun in it.
So if someone wants to play Voltron... Let's let them play Voltron.
If it's questionable, why do you care?
Right. If you're not worried about them playing Voltron, then who cares if they play Voltron? Don't get me wrong. There are a few, like, you ever played against a Zergo Helm Smasher deck?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's terrible. That is just like Voltron and board clears because he never dies.
There's certain decks, but I just feel like you can't group them all together. You know.
No, this argument's going on, and now that Josh Lee Kwai is on the not on the committee, but he's an advisor. Everyone's like, oh, he's gonna take away your commander damage, and he's gonna like. He just doesn't like it. He doesn't. He's not.
He's made it very clear he's more on the side of less things banned than more things banned. So he said even if he doesn't like things, he's not gonna just put it on the list.
No, I don't.
Because it would just make it more complicated for new commander players.
I'm not worried about it, but who knows?
Do you want to talk about the mulligan rule?
Yeah, so there's a new mulligan rule that. Well, I can't say it's a new rule. It got tested over. I believe it's this weekend at GP or Magic Fest.
Yeah, their first.
It's a GP. I don't care what it says, but it's Magic Fest LA. So the new mulligan rule that's being tested, I believe, and it's going in Modern and Legacy and some side events and stuff, is that. So the current mulligan rule, I forget which mulligan rule we use now. There's like a name for it. This new one's called the London Mulligan. Yeah, this new one's called the London Mulligan. So what it is? Oh, we use the Vancouver Mulligan, I think. So what the new current mulligan rule is I draw 7. If I don't like them, I reshuffle them, draw 6, and then I scry the top card.
Yeah. And you keep going.
And you keep going until you have a hand you like. The new rule says that if you draw, so I draw my 7, I don't like it. Instead of drawing 6, I still draw 7, but then for every time I mulligan, I have to put one of those cards in the bottom of my library. So let's say I mulligan twice, I'm still only getting 5 cards in my opening hand, but I get to choose from the 7 I drew.
It kind of gives you an in-between step, like how the old rule you kind of scried, but now you're just sorting what cards you want to play.
You're getting like card selection instead of, you're getting card selection instead of just that, because the worst thing is if you take a mulligan, you scry the top card and it's a land, you're like, I don't need more land, tuck it, and the next thing's a land.
Yeah.
Now you're really like having a more clear and concise way of what your early game's gonna be.
Yeah.
And to me, and I talked to Caitlin about this last night, we were actually in the car, I hate dirtily decks, and I think a big problem is opening hands, when people take a dirtily opening hand, or I have to take this now because
you don't want to go down to 6.
Yeah, you don't want to go to 5 especially.
Yeah.
So they'll take a hand, and then they dirtle through the first few turns, and the game's drag, and they just... Yeah. For me to look at that and go, all right, well, I'm going to take these 5, but these 5 are gas.
Yeah.
That's way better. And I really like that idea, and I really hope that it does become a thing, because...
I like it. I think it makes it more fun for the players.
It does make it way more fun.
It gives a better chance for everyone to have a more fair game. Because I think right now the mulligan rule just favors certain play types for decks.
Yeah. I don't... like coming from like a point, like on the X-Mage I still play Modern and everything here again.
Yeah.
There are some decks, like let's say Dredge for example, because that's the deck I'm most well versed in. When you're playing Dredge, if you take a bet, there's minimal lands in that deck.
Yeah.
I mean, very, very few lands in that deck. I was playing a game a couple weeks ago on X-Mage, I had to mull down a 4 to find a land, and then all of a sudden I have my land, but now I don't have any of my discard spells. I don't have any of my...
You play land and then you do nothing.
And I was waiting, and then like, because the whole thing is you want to be like land, and like Faith of Looting. Alright, turn 2, Tormenting Voice. Then you start dredging, and then you start getting stuff out, and you want to have that engine. And if you don't have that engine, then at all, even a little bit, even if you can get a sliver of that engine in your opening hand, then the game's at least fun for you, and you can, and you're still getting the same cards. So you're still getting the same number of cards.
And you still get punished for mulligans. It's just you get a better chance of
actually playing the game.
Of rewarding yourself by mulliganing.
The only argument that I saw against it, and it's the most fringe argument that is that Grenzo becomes busted good, because then you just mull to like 2. I just tuck everything on the bottom and then just activate his ability 1,000 times and get everything.
Course. I just think that if they're gonna do that, they should just ban Grenzo from the formats that they're gonna.
Here's the thing. The thing with me though is I don't think we need to ban Grenzo if that's the case, because at the end of the day.
Well, if it's an issue.
Because Grenzo's ability says that you pay 2, you put the bottom card of your library into your graveyard. Yeah. If that card's power is equal to or less than Grenzo's, you can put it on the battlefield. So with my Alacia deck, I have him in there. I always set him at 2 because all my creatures are power 2 or less. Yeah. So I just cast him for... It's because he's X black-red.
Yeah, but in that deck it would be harder to get all that lined up.
Exactly, and if he's on the helm, you're still only dropping him at what? Let's say you still take 2 lands. You're still only putting him at 2. So now those cards that go on the bottom have to be 2. Yeah. So I think there's a...
By the time you get all that set up...
Yeah, there's going to be... I'm sure there's going to be that weird game where someone's like, oh, I flop out this busted card on turn 3, but I can do that already.
That happens now with the current mulligan rule.
Right, yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah,
I think it's cool.
I like it, and I think it's really going to help Modern and Legacy.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how it goes with the tournament this weekend. I want to see like what decks thrive and what decks don't do good. Because it might be interesting to see if there's a switch in the meta.
Yeah, I think there's going to be... I think there's not going to be a switch in the meta. Well, I guess that would be a switch in the meta. I think there's going to be more... you're going to see more decks perform a little more... better or worse, depending on how...
Even if it's a small change, I think you'll be able to see it.
Because when you start hitting decks like Tron...
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep scrying until I hit my Tron land. That's going to force a lot of other decks to play land destruction or things to go around that. So I think it's going to adjust the meta in a way that it's going to make people a little more...
strategic.
Yeah, they're going to have to try a little harder instead of just
net decking and playing a deck that's super good.
Got my nut draw and just done.
Alright, our last topic for this episode is the idea of allowing all Planeswalkers to be commanders in the format. And right now, I think there's a few Planeswalker commanders. Well, there's a lot, but they're all from pre-cons and they were printed recently.
There's the 5 monocolored ones. Yeah. Then there's the 4 we got this year. Yeah. And then we got Will and Rowan from Battleground. Okay. So 10. Yeah. 10 possible.
And that's a good amount. And so far, people have had a lot of mixed reviews about it. I know Josh Lee Kwai and Jimmy from Game Nights don't really like it.
Yeah, I actually don't like it either.
You don't?
The reason I don't like it, and this goes back to what you said about how it, and Josh Lee Kwai always says, we want to ban less stuff. Yeah. If tomorrow they came out and said every Planeswalker is a valid commander, there are some that are so broken. They would have to ban them. They would have to ban them, and I don't want those banned because they're fine in the 99. No. Like Liliana Vess. I think she's 5 mana or 4 mana, whatever she is, and her -3 is Demonic Tutor. Yeah. You just tutor a card to your hand.
And some people would argue that you just make a ban list for Planeswalkers as commanders versus Planeswalkers in the 99, but that's what they used to do, and they got rid of that ban list because they used to have a separate ban list just for commanders.
And then it gets confusing. Yeah. It just gets outright, it's so hard, and I know we've mentioned this before, for someone to walk in a commander is weird. It's 100 cards instead of 60. You can play all these cards except for these cards.
It took me a good year and a half to get into Commander.
Which is already where it is, but then now I have to go, you can use Commanders, but not these Commanders. Yeah. And you can have these Planeswalkers in the 99, but not in your Commander slot. That's too much.
Yeah, and I don't think banning 15 Planeswalkers is going to do the format any good.
No, because
it hurts Super Friends.
The one Tezzeret tutors. The one Tezzeret is already a broken card in the artifact combo decks because he tutors for your combo pieces. Now he's in your command zone. Or
the Sorin, life total to 13 or whatever.
Oh someone's life total becomes 10.
Yeah, not Grim Nemesis, right? It's the
Sorin Markov. That in the command zone. Yeah. That creates an I don't want to say unhealthy. It creates a not fun environment.
No, yeah, because you instantly get that, and then I'm sure they would be happy to sack it or let it die, and then
do it again.
Do it again.
Because let's see what that.
Isn't it a -2?
He's now mind you, he's a 6-drop commander, and his -3 is total life total becomes 10.
Yeah, so you could do that twice.
No, because his loyalty's 4.
Oh, I thought it was 6.
He's a -3. No, it comes out on turn 6. No. But even then, that's earlier with the Soul Ring. It's earlier with...
And Mono Black's already a super powerful color.
Well, think about how many times you can do that if you have Cabal Coffers and Urborg out, and then you're just I can cast Sorin all I want, and...
And with all the new cards from Amanatu that let you do stupid broken stuff with blinking and Planeswalkers and...
Because, think about how busted Caitlyn's Amanatu deck is already as Super Friends.
Yeah.
Now I'm really having to worry about, all right, how do I stop that when it's in the command zone?
Yeah.
And that's just, I don't like it. And I don't want to, sit here and, I think we should get... Well, I mentioned this in a video we did before. I think every year we should, in each pre-con, we should get one commander who's a Planeswalker.
Yeah. I just don't think they should allow all of them at once. Or they should do certain... I don't know. I was saying they should do, certain waves where they allow certain ones from certain sets, but that would be so hard to track. And, over time, it would just get complicated.
Yeah, and this is already already a complicated enough format that I don't want to
And the whole reason we brought this up is because there are rumors. I think I saw it on Reddit. I don't know where Jordan saw it.
Reddit.
That
not the best source. Sorry, y'all.
The next set might include 30+ Planeswalkers.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's accurate or
because what we're apparently what we're getting is the set's called War of Sparks, and they think that it's going to be a bunch of people's Planeswalker Sparks igniting. So a bunch of characters we knew as legendary creatures are going to become Planeswalkers.
Which I think that's cool. It's kind of a bummer that you won't see them as commanders, but
yeah. Here's another one. Tameo Field Researcher.
Yeah.
Is a broken ass commander. +1, choose up to 2 target creatures until the next turn. Whenever either of those creatures deal combat damage, you draw a card. So I'm flopping out on turn 4, make 2 flyers or thopters and give them that. Her -2. Tap up to 2 target non-land permanents. They don't untap. Okay, great. Her ultimate, which mine only takes 3 turns to get to, and trust me, if she was a commander, you'd find ways to make her go faster. Draw 3 cards, and you get an emblem that says you may cast non-land cards from your hand without paying their mana cost.
Yeah, that'd be broken.
That in the command zone is busted.
And then you'd have to ban a bunch more. So I don't think it's a good option.
Meet Ugin the Spirit Dragon.
Yeah.
4 clear, always.
What's that mono white one? Or not mono white. Elspeth. Is it mono white?
The one that makes all the tokens?
Well, there's multiple Elspeths.
Yeah,
I don't like any of them.
None of them are good.
But yeah, so I think it's going to be time to get into our favorite thing of the week. So my favorite thing of the week is actually a TV show that's been out for so long, and I just started it last week, and I've gone through 4 seasons, and it's not
I'm excited to see what...
Survivor.
Oh yeah, I was an OG fan back way in the day.
I know a lot of people watched it religiously for so long, but then I think it's in 36 seasons.
Yeah,
now.
it's absurd.
So people stopped watching it because it got repetitive.
It's repetitive, yeah.
It's the same thing every time, but I don't know. So Jordan knows I like Jenna Marbles and Julian Solomita on YouTube, and they have a podcast called the Jenna and Julian Podcast, and they had the game show. I don't know if you know The Challenge. It's a reality. It's sort of like Survivor, but it's not on an island. You're in a house and you do these challenges.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
There's one winner. And they had this girl, Sarah Rice, who was a contestant on the show. And then from there, I watched them do an episode with John Cochran, who was a Survivor winner. He was on twice. And after listening to them talk about it and all the little like secret stuff that no one knows about it, like where they hide the mics and where the cameraman
and you're just like, yes.
And I'm like, now I need to watch the show to like understand the context.
I think you've never watched one season of Survivor.
No, like I've never seen it. It was like past my time, and like I didn't have cable, so I don't know. It just wasn't a thing. And now I'm like hooked. And I'm
it's good.
I've watched like 4 seasons in the last week and a half.
It's by far the worst surviving show. Because they're not surviving anything. No. You're just like...
They get rice and water.
Right, and they do like these dumb challenges. And it's just like, don't like get sick from the water. Yeah. Like, oh,
and
all right.
They just getting drama fights on who likes who and like who's sleeping.
It's a better reality show than it is like a survival show.
Oh yeah, I love it. I like it because of the social aspect.
Yeah, when I was a kid, my mom... Like, I'm talking, this is like Survivor Amazon, like way back in the day. And you know those headbands they wear, those little like... stretchy, like they're always
the buffs.
Yeah, like the buffs. My mom bought me one of those when I was like 7.
That's where they had the mics.
Yeah, and I was like, I thought it was the coolest. I'm like, look at my cool Survivor headband as like a chubby.
They're little like bandana things.
Yeah.
Well, I actually heard on the podcast with John Cochran that they're actually thinking about having, like, they want to get a new audience of Survivor watchers with the new generation. So they're trying to get a lot of internet personalities on the show. So they want. Spoiler is Smosh, the Smosh Games girl, the blonde one, I think. I don't know her name.
Yeah.
But they think that she's going to be on the next season.
That'd be cool.
And they might have, like, another YouTuber and, like, maybe a Twitter and Instagram person.
That'd be cool. If they did, like, a celebrity, I'm using the term celebrity loosely, but, like,
an online personality.
An online personality, yeah, that'd be cool. I'd watch that.
Like, the younger people would know.
Because they're already dramatic enough.
Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine, like, subtweeting, like, in the forest? Like,
well, they're, like, imagine, like, this person who lives on the internet then has to be put in a social situation, and they're starving, and they have to do challenges, and they haven't been with their iPhone in a month. So, like, they're going to lose their shit.
They're on a into iPhone, like, tweeting, like, this is the worst.
Yeah.
So, my favorite thing of the week, and I'm going to tell you, it doesn't have a happy ending, though.
I don't know.
For me. So,
I'm nervous.
So I woke up on, I forget what morning it was. I woke up earlier this week, I think it was like Tuesday, and I see that there's a band called Have Heart. Okay. And it just said, Have Heart playing 4 shows. Have Heart is a band that came out back in the early 2000s, and they were very influential in the hardcore community. Mm-hmm. Very. I mean, now they're not cool with, like, the younger kids now. They're, like, lame, but...
Oh, of course.
But still, like, me and, like, all my friends who are in, like, their late 20s...
They paved the ground.
They are the most... I mean, they're, like, this Boston straight edge band. Their lyrics... If you can't listen to the lyrics and not feel something, like, just... They're so real and very, like, uplifting and, like, positive, and they're amazing. Well, they broke up back in 2009.
Okay.
And...
Almost 10 years ago?
It was 10 years ago they broke up. And the world was devastated. Just like how we are losing this, like, one of the most influential bands ever. And every year for the last 10 years, I have seen Have Heart reunion, Have Heart's getting back together, someone from Have Heart is in a new band, is it going to be new Have Heart? And it never is. And the lead singer always just said, we went out perfectly. Their last show was amazing, legendary. And they, all of a sudden, decide they're going to play 4 shows this year. They're playing 4 shows this year. Okay. And they're never playing a show again after that. They're playing 4
I was like, where's the sad part?
4 single shows. They said 4 shows and 4 shows only. Like, do not expect more. Do not expect, like, this isn't some hidden, agenda. Yeah. We are just playing 4 shows because it's been 10 years and we want to do, like, a 10-year thing.
Yeah. Just get out of their system.
So... The 4 shows are Boston, which they're from, Los Angeles, and then England. There's 2 in England. 2 in England for some festival.
Go to the Boston one. I think it'd be worth it.
So I look at Caitlin, because Caitlin has a Have Heart tattoo. That tattoo on her leg is a Have Heart tattoo. And I said, Have Heart's playing shows. And she's like, bullshit. I'm like, no, Have Heart's playing shows. Yeah. I'm texting everyone, like, and everyone's like, you're lying. I'm like, no, I'm dead serious. So we go on. So I said, we're going to pop up online, and because Boston's 9.5 hours from here, hotel.
You can drive it.
We can drive it. Hotel we're like, we'll use our PTO from work. Yeah. We'll save up.
You can do it in like 3 days.
Yeah, we go online. The tickets sold out in under 20 seconds for all 4 shows. So everyone is just like, I literally like was on like the verge of tears. I was like, and I kind of like went into it like knowing that was going to happen because of how influential they were, huge. But like then when it was reality hit me that I was like, I'm not going. Yeah. Like I couldn't like handle it. I was like, okay, hold on.
Maybe we can get them off Craigslist or something. Pay $2,000. Your life.
That's the thing. There's always scalpers. Well, you know, I'll do $1,000 for two and all that stuff. Yeah. Well, Monday they tweeted and said the support has been so overwhelming. We understand that there's a lack of tickets. Monday we're going to make an announcement, and Wednesday there will be tickets available.
Oh, okay.
We do not know what date that. No, they're not. They're gonna. I'm assuming no one knows. But we're assuming they're going to move the venue and have it hold more people. So now I'm ready for round 2 of disappointment because I have one friend, my friend Ian from Motives. He got LA tickets. Oh. But him and his girlfriend are flying to Los Angeles to do this.
If you think about it, it might be cheaper than buying an expensive ass ticket for Boston. But it depends.
Well, the thing is, all of them are like that. Well, here's the thing: is the festival out in LA is like a 2-day hardcore festival where there's like 80 other great bands. So those are even more expensive than the one in Boston. And so we're gonna wake up.
Set your alarm.
We're gonna see what they say Monday and see if they're opening up more Boston tickets. And if they are, we're gonna wake up. I have recruited Johnny to help me. Like, can we just get like I need like multiple people, laptops, phones. I need everyone on to
for sure.
And like, because he wants to go, I want to go, and Caitlin really wants to go. So
you can only queue like so many tickets at a time.
Yeah, so we're gonna hope they open up more Boston tickets. And if I don't go, I tweeted it. As much as I'm like that sucks and it hurts to like not go. I hope everyone who goes has
a good ass time.
I hope they have the best time because this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Yeah. This is never gonna happen again, and I think like this is gonna be a like.
Maybe they'll record it and you can see it.
There's a YouTuber called Hate56, and all he does is go to shows with like his HD camera team, and they record shows. Oh, that's awesome. I think he's going to all 4 days.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
We're gonna at least have like 4 great videos of
if
this.
Not, maybe the band will do something because I know like Def Leppard did a whole on their like recent tour.
Yeah, there'll be videos. There's gonna be all that. It's just very like. The day's gonna come, and if I'm not there, I'm gonna be like really upset.
Yeah,
but
it's gonna be a bad day.
But I also just want like no hard feelings because people are online like, if you got tickets, fuck you. Like I've been a fan longer than you, and I'm just like, why would you ruin someone's good time with that? Like,
just be happy.
Let's like this. You knew this was gonna happen. Let's just be happy and. Yeah. So anyone who's going, I'm very happy for you.
And get him a ticket.
And if you're going and you don't have, if you have an extra, I will.
Yeah, Jordan will pay you a lot.
I'll pay you a fair amount of money.
You had an honorable mention, right?
I have an honorable mention. This honorable mention, actually, I changed my honorable mention because I thought of this.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Back in I just thought of it because of LA. When you said LA, back in 2015, there's another music thing. There's a band called The Ghost Inside. Okay. Very, very influential on my life. Big time. I've been a fan of them for a long time. Back in 2015, the lead singer actually plays Magic like religiously. He streams on Twitch like arena and stuff now.
That's awesome.
They were on a tour. They were doing a tour where they were doing a small venue tour. They were only playing venues that capped at like 200 to 300 people, and they're a fairly decent sized band. Like they'll play to like 1,000 a night. Well, they were driving through somewhere out west, and their bus hit a semi head-on, going 70 miles an hour on a freeway. The drivers both died. The lead singer was using a walker up until like a few weeks ago.
Wait, I think you told me about this.
Yeah,
right?
The drummer lost his leg.
Yeah.
Like his leg had to get amputated. They've been like just absolutely like. It ruined them. Like they just like as people, like it broke them as people.
I'm sure they were family.
They just all of a sudden now their singer can't walk. Their drummer has to learn to play drums again with a prosthetic leg and all this kind of stuff. And every year we just keep waiting. They were booked for Warped Tour 2017, and they just said like we physically I can't walk. Like I can't go up here and perform when I can't walk still, and the physical therapy's taking longer than I wanted. The drummer's still learning to like walk with his new leg and all that stuff. Well, they announced a show. They're doing a show in Los Angeles, where they're from. They're doing one night, and they said like the reason they're basically like it's one night for now. It might be our last show. It might not be our last show. We don't know how our bodies are gonna react. We don't know anything. Yeah. But they're gonna come back for the first time since 2015 to do a show.
Because it could be traumatizing.
Very well could be.
Might not want to do it ever again.
Yeah. So those tickets sold out in an hour only because the website crashed for a half hour because the overwhelming amount of. Yeah. But my friend Matt from California he got tickets and he's going, awesome. And this one's a little more sweet because this band like should not be alive. Like they literally, I mean, when we saw the pictures of the bus accident, we're like, well, they're dead. Like there's no way. So for them to come back and like push through 4 years of physical therapy and I don't know how many hardships they went through, for them to come back to like do this show is
that's awesome,
phenomenal, and I'm so excited to like. Even if it's one show, I'm gonna like.
It's another show Jordan can't see.
There's a lot of disappointment. I can't float to LA, but
Jordan's favorite thing of the week every week is a show that he can't go to. Just, like for the last 12 episodes.
It's just bands that changed my life that I'll never see again.
So I also have an honorable mention. Mine's a little smaller. Jordan knows, and Kaylin, that I started taking dance classes.
Yeah,
that's. I only took one because they're expensive as hell. As dancers probably know. It's like $60 for a 1 hour class, unless you pay for like 10 classes a week, and then it's only $300. But then you have to take 10 classes a week, and I don't have time for that.
And $300.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think it'd be worth it if I had the time.
Right.
But I don't want to spend the money and then only go to one.
Right.
Yeah. So I signed up for another, and it was last night, and I'm so sore, but it's like so fun, and I'm really happy I did it, and like I stepped out of my comfort zone, but like I can't move my arms today, and like I didn't think I could like without lifting weights be so sore, but I'm really happy I did it.
I think that was really cool of you to do.
Yeah, no,
as like a
so
person,
awkward,
like, because I know like you have anxiety, and like I also have crippling anxiety a lot of the time, and like for me to like see people I care about step into like uncomfortable situations and like thrive in it, I'm like. Yes, Queen.
Well, I
wouldn't
like, say thrive.
Okay, well you did it.
You
and,
haven't
like,
seen me there.
Okay, you at least like had the guts to show up because
I didn't think I would go to my second.
That takes a lot. Yeah, that takes a lot. So
I went to the second.
So that's awesome. Yes,
next
Queen.
week, if I tell you guys I went to the third, like be really happy of me. If I can afford it, we'll see.
That's awesome.
It's really fun. If you guys have suggestions for our next episodes or any comments about this one, let us know.
Shoot us some opinions, and we'll see y'all next week. Yeah, next week.
Yeah, next week. Bye.
Bye.
Right now I'm in a state of mind. I wanna be like all the time. You got no tears left to cry.